Welcome to the first episode of Style Syndicate, where we will be looking at all things lifestyle and entertainment. I'm your host, Lindwa Stole, and I'm coming to you from a modern, contemporary 4-bedroom cluster in Bryanston. It's hard to imagine this space as abandoned and with severe water damage. It was originally designed by an Austrian architect who left it unfinished. This was an empty shell for 14 years, but it had cool features. That's why the new owners decided to purchase it. They gave it a much-needed facelift, and this is what you have today. On today's episode, we take a look at the luxury mask trend. Then have a drink with the controversial award-winning singer Kelly Khumalo.
Lockdown owes me money.
But first, Miss S.A. Sasha Lee Olivier invited us to her apartment at Central Square, Sandton for a tour.
Hi Style Syndicate, I'm Miss South Africa and welcome to my home. Now this is the kitchen, and I'd say I spend a fair share of my time here, not only unboxing my Uber Eats, but also whipping up my famous pavlova that my mom just loves so much. And now my favorite part of the kitchen is actually the bookcase. Come and have a look. We have a book from Robin Sharma, the 5 a.m. Club. I actually bought one of these for Zozi for her birthday last year, and I've been reading it as well now. He's definitely one of my favorite authors, and I've learned just so much from all of his teachings. Now going into the living area, which has been furnished by Bella Interiors. I think she's done a really amazing job for, really encapsulating the woman on the move. And although we haven't been allowed out during lockdown, it's really one of those functional spaces that I would say I love to call home. So seeing that we can't be on the move that much, I've been here in my lounge watching TV, but not really watching TV, listening to lo-fi hip-hop. And for those of you who don't know what it is, check it out. I love it so much. You're welcome. Over here we have a very peaceful place, and it's where the Queen gets a good night's rest. This is the main bedroom. Now at night, I really love a good view. So you'd find that I'd actually just peel back the curtains and watch the view before I sleep. Now one of the highlights of the main bedroom is the ensuite bathroom, and of course the mirror. I actually get ready here in the morning for whatever it is that I need to do for the day. Lately, a lot of Zoom meetings, but when I don't have enough light in here, I also make use of this beautiful ring light, which actually helps me make the best selfies. So you're about to go into a place of envy for the vast majority of people I know. It's my closet, okay? So just be ready, because it's the place of envy. Over here in the closet is a few things we're actually going to be using in the next couple of weeks. I'm very excited for this one. I was actually gifted it by Anele. It's a Basotho jersey that is really cool. I can't wait to shoot with it because I'm always the creative concepts person. And here we just have a few dresses that I usually use for interviews. I actually remember wearing this, one of my favorites, before the sun met last year, and I think I went to Espresso to do an interview, and I just can't believe how beautiful this looks. And over here we have a few more things in my closet. Let's see what I can show you. I still have these. I actually did a gumboot dance for Miss World. So look, if anyone's looking for a partner to dance with, or like we need a dance group for something, you can invite me. I definitely think that I have what it takes to be a part of your group. So being Miss South Africa in lockdown, I guess it's pretty tricky, because what we do as Miss South Africa is very much hands-on. But I found that although we've been restricted in terms of where it is that we get to travel and who it is that we get to see, we are still able to lend our voice to a multitude of causes through our platforms like our social media, like Instagram. It has been testing, needless to say. So what I do to keep busy is, like everyone, I was baking. Like everyone, I won't say I made banana bread though, I didn't go that far. But I did find myself cooking a lot more, ordering less Uber Eats because it was forced upon us. But just spending a lot more time with my family, being cognizant of all the relationships that I have, and just nurturing them so much more, because there was just so much more time and so much more awareness on what was actually important. My highlights for over this past year, wow, where do I start? Going into representing our country in London. It's the first time through the head-to-head challenge that I feel I got to have a conversation with our country with regards to what it is that I stand for, who it is that I represent, and representing us in the Oxford Union, which was a debate where 6 formidable speakers had the opportunity to showcase what it is not only that they stand for, but what they were fighting for. So in terms of memorable moments, I think my family has a lot of wit, and it's something that I've never seemed to get used to, but honestly, you know, I remember the first weekend back, and I was going back home, and it was a Thursday. Now, a Thursday in our household would be the day I do the dishes, right? And that was for Sasha. Now I came back home and I thought, I was under some illusion that this changed. And my mom was like, listen girl, you see this South Africa place? Yeah, you miss South Africa there, but in this house, on a Thursday, you are still doing the dishes. So she's always just kept me, she's kept me humble. Now you all know that I'm a sucker for a good view. So while I take this in, just gonna say thank you so much for joining me. Now you can see yourself out.
Coming up on Star Syndicate, Kelly Khumalo gives us a taste of her new gin.
So you can imagine what I was going through. I was throwing things on the wall because I'm like, what the hell?
We all know that it's now compulsory to wear a face mask when in public to reduce the spread of COVID-19. But that doesn't mean that you can't look good while keeping safe, right? So here are some designers who are turning the protective gear into a statement piece. Zimbabwean-born fashion designer Kudo Matiza founded the vibrant label House of Hoa. You know, I love the colors, bright, colorful colors that you're using.
So we're an urban ethnic brand, you know. We do streetwear, we do a lot of these, very cool items that are fused by current trends and also culture and, ethnic vibes. So what we try to do is to conceptualize stories from an African perspective.
And now a mask is no longer just a mask. It's now like an accessory. It goes with the outfits. And I look at the clothes that you're selling, the jackets that you have, the pants that you have, and then the mask is like a nice addition. Sort of like a handbag. Oh, that keeps you safe though.
Yeah, well, of course. The idea obviously for getting a mask that actually matches with your clothing and everything else is to sort of like make safety also a trend. It has to be a fashion trend. So we also did a campaign here with Newtown Junction, and the idea of it was wear your mask, but then you don't have to be uncomfortable with your mask. You can also be fashionable with your mask itself.
Antoinette Stolz from Bobbillon is known for designing proudly South African handmade handbags. But when orders took a pause because of the pandemic, she decided to create scarf masks.
So I had a friend actually saying that she wanted a mask and a scarf sort of intertwined. She's a teacher. So we decided to come up with a mask, and she also sent a photo. and we made a scarf mask. We've also got a filter pocket, and then inside of here you can buy your filters, or you could use wax paper, a roller towel, or a tissue that you could also use as an extra third layer to go into your mask.
There's so many people out there now who are making masks, and they're making fashionable ones and they look pretty, but how do you know if this is a proper one and you will be protected? How do you, is there a way to test?
You can. So what you can do is you can take a lighter and just light the flame and then just blow through your fabric. If your flame blows out, then you know that you actually need another layer in your mask.
Another cool thing that you're working on is a little pouch where you can put your mask in it. Tell me about that pouch.
Our self-sanitizing pouch we have is a branded pouch with Bobby-yarn material on the outside, and on the inside it's got a self-sanitizing material whereby you can put your masks, your scarf masks inside, and it will self-sanitize your masks in here. It will take about 1 to 4 hours to sanitize. However, it doesn't mean to say that you should not be washing your masks.
DJ Zintle, also known as Africa's #1 female DJ, is not only focusing on adults. Why did you decide to start selling a mask?
Struggling to find masks for Cairo, I think, was the biggest inspiration for me, because I kept finding masks that were good enough for adults, but for kids, I felt like no one was making them. Sometimes I'd go jogging or I'd go for walks in the morning when we were allowed to go out in the morning, remember?
Yeah.
And I'd see all the parents wearing their masks, but the kids didn't have anything on. And it just used to bother me because we're also supposed to protect them. So I think that was my greatest inspiration. Got a lot of feedback from people, which is great. This is why social media is so great. We get a lot of feedback from people who say this is the most comfortable. They're able to even jog wearing our masks, which is a positive for us.
And it is a real positive because they sold out like immediately. Twice?
Yes.
Imagine they sold out twice.
It feels good, and I feel like my biggest inspiration was the kids. So seeing all these posts of these little kids wearing these masks and looking super cute is a really big one for me, because I just want us to be the people that provide masks for everyone. Like if a kid wants a mask, they must want this mask that Cairo is wearing, or the Cairo mask. This is what they're calling it these days, even though it's not a Cairo mask. Cairo's taking all the credit.
If you're looking for something a bit more trendy with a touch of drama, Masango by Siposihle has you covered. Tell me what the thought process was when you made them.
I wouldn't want to wear any ordinary type mask, so I wanted to make a nice mask, a luxury mask, everyday mask. It must go with the outfit, you know. If I'm wearing all black, it must complement the type of black. If I'm wearing my biker jacket, it must have black studs. If I'm wearing my pink lame, it must have pink lame. So I was like, you know, so there's a gap here. If I'm thinking this way, there's clearly other consumers who are thinking, if I'm gonna wear the mask, it must match my outfit.
It's an accessory now.
I'm thinking it's like the substitute for the lipstick.
Yes, actually, right? How do you make them and still make them look so stylish?
Measure your dimensions. After I measure dimensions, make the mask, and then do the 3 layers as per government regulation. Do the gauze that goes inside, do the outside lining, do the inner lining, and then do the outside fabric, depending on what I'll be embellishing the mask with in the end.
How do you wash it at home? How do I take care of it?
Okay, so you definitely don't, like, you know, like urofo, no, you don't do that. You literally just basically, I mean, this is something that just goes onto your face. It doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. It's not like clothing. It doesn't require a lot of movement, a lot of, it's not active. So it just protects your face. So literally how you wash it is you get some soapy water. You get a little soapy water, you lay your mask in there, you let it soak. After you let your mask soak, all the germs and everything lifts off it, and then you take it out. If you need to do a light rub, you do a light rub on it, and then you take it out again, and then you lay it on the grass, and then you let it just drip dry.
This lift was once home to pigeons And now it's all cleaned up. It leads directly to the bedroom from the garage. Still to come, Kelly Khumalo mixes us a drink.
Oh, turns out I am a man.
She's always the talk of the town and is often described as controversial, but she's making that reputation work to her advantage. She recently launched Controversy Gin in a bid to silence the haters. She joins other celebrities such as Kanye Mbao, Thibaut Touch, Mashabela, and Jay Something, who also have their own brand of gin. The songstress sat down with us to talk about what she's been up to during lockdown, her upcoming reality show, and while we're at it, tips on how you can enjoy a glass of gin. Tell me, why did you decide to have your own gin?
Gin has been labeled as a very testosterone-driven drink. Hence, there aren't a lot of women who have their own gin and whatnot. So it's nice to actually have more women venturing into the gin business and also just enjoying gin.
This is locally produced, right?
Yes, locally produced.
So now, I want to know what goes into this gin making
A
process.
lot of work. For me, this was like a new journey altogether. I'm used to music. Now I'm into this gin manufacturing. It went from finding the name, deciding on the name, and then from there, the packaging, because the packaging also needs to speak to the brand Kelly Khumalo, from the packaging into the product itself. So now I'm putting together all these tastes that I like a couple of botanicals. We have like your pineapple, we have your blueberry, we have your cucumber, we have your lemon.
And how has the lockdown impacted, though, the business itself?
Lockdown owes me money. Let's just be frank. Lockdown owes me money.
Because it launched just before.
Yes,
lockdown,
it did.
right?
When I do my calculations and checking how much money I would have made by now, lockdown owes me money.
Oh my.
Well, it has been quite a setback. And also, obviously, we need to be safe. You know, impilo is much more important than making money. We will eventually, make the money that we would have made, but also we just need to be safe.
How do you enjoy it?
Well, I have my ways, which is also very simple because I'm not an intricate person. So as you can see, we have the raspberry and we have the ice. So I love to be practical. So that rosemary, in fact, Mina, instead of rosemary, I use mint.
Oh.
Yes, that's why I'm like, what is
okay,
that?
Okay.
So I use mint. So today we will use, should we?
Let's
Should we
why
start?
not? Let's start.
Okay,
Let's
cool.
do it. Let's do it.
Okay, let's have
Yes.
rosemary.
Okay, I'm also gonna put some in there.
And then let's have raspberry.
How much raspberry do you put in yours?
Well, I love to garnish my drink.
Yeah, so
it must.
it depends on the person.
It just depends on the person. It
Okay.
doesn't matter how much. And then, because also you need to have that look.
Oh, of course.
That exotic look.
It needs to be Instagrammable.
Yes. And also it needs to look beautiful enough for people to want to consume it. Okay, I'm gonna need men's hand. Oh, turns
There we
out I
go.
am a man.
We can all do it.
Okay, not too much. I should warn you, this is a very little drink.
How
So
many shots are those?
I don't know. I'm just saying, be careful.
Okay,
This is
cool.
a very little drink. It's very strong.
Oh my
And then
goodness, I'm
after
so
that,
scared.
you can have your Indian tonic.
Okay, try
But
that.
it will knock you out blind, my
Zolala,
sweet.
it's
Good
fine.
luck.
Look at how pretty that looks.
Look! Cheers!
Cheers! Yay! There's a sweetness there.
Yes.
Now you see. Now I want to go outside and chill by the sun.
Yes,
and
you want
just,
your
you know,
passport, you want to be boarding, you want to see exotic looking
That's it.
people.
That's exactly it. Exactly. Oh, Kelly. Why did you decide to name it Controversy?
My, should I even elaborate? I think if you are a South African, you would know that if you mention the name Kelly Khumalo, somehow controversy comes out. Whether willing or not, my name has been part of controversy, whether I agree or not. So why not call my drink Controversy?
Why do you think they have it in their minds that they will always associate you with this name?
I'm still trying to figure that one out. But also my thought process is that anything that is out of the ordinary will always be perceived as controversial. I live my truth, and also I find that people find it hard to have a human being that is very in touch with herself that much. So they find it very controversial. It is only controversial to them, but to me, it's just my truth. Yeah.
How do you deal with the negative comments? What do you do?
I actually don't care. It is that simple. But also what I've learned is that we are dealing with a lot of broken people. We are dealing with a lot of hurt people. People who haven't healed in their own private spaces, and they would want to project that hurt to you. So I forgive them.
Right now you're working on some new music.
Yes, which is very exciting.
Yes.
I've been so excited and wanting to share with the people, and then the lockdown came and whatnot. I've been working on my upcoming album since last year, I think around about September, October. And it just so happens that we went to lockdown right before I could release the first single that was meant to come out in April. So lockdown happened in March. So you can imagine what I was going through. I was throwing things on the wall because I'm like, what the hell? You know, it felt very personal. And I was busy shooting the reality show, and then voila, lockdown. So can you understand, Mangiti lockdown iyang golot? There's a lot happening in my life, lockdown or not. People have decided that they want me guilty. It's not about what I want to show you. It's more of this is who I am. It's not about what I want to show you, because there's a very thin line between what you plan for people to show, you plan to show people, and what is your reality.
Do you feel like there'll be a moment where you're overexposed?
For me, I don't fear being overexposed because I have nothing to hide. I live my truth. It depends how you see it as an outsider. And for me, it is just letting people into my reality, no matter what that means.
Well, we can't wait to see it. And thank you for sharing your journey with us. Yeah, as you said, Vela. Yes,
Cheers to
I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Cheers to that.
The woman that you see in front of you is self-made. And now I'm ready to embrace the great that God has created me for.
And that's it from Star Syndicate. Thank you for joining us, and see you next week. Stay safe.